Dragonchain, Dragonchain, ja ich rock die Dragonchain, Dragonchain, ja ich rock die Dragonchain, Dragonchain, yeah Galaxy Boy. Ja, ich hab den Dragon Spirit, Dragonchain den Neck, ich kill es, ja bis kill es, ey, ja, ich hab den Dragon Spirit, Dragonchain den Neck, ich kill es, ja bis kill es, Speie lila Flammen, ganzes Game am Brennen, du machst den Track hier an, deutsche Rapper rennen, ja du weißt ganz genau, dass alle grad erkennen, dass ich einfach besser rappe als die deutschen Rap-Legenden. Meine Rap-Skills technisch heftig, deine Rap-Skills sind extrem schlecht, Bitch. Du bist nur ein Cash-geiler Zweckreimer mit Patent auf Reckless. Ich bin echt nicer Textschreiber mit den besten Tracks, Bitch.
Ey, yo, Alter, nur kurz gefragt, ist schon alles so? Kannst du nicht wenigstens noch so einen ganz kurzen Part bringen?
Pass auf, mein Beast ist trapped in the brain, Trends gonna break, Funkener fliegen, die Flex insane, Text in grade, it's way too late, for you to stop me, denn ich zeig was das Game. Im Netz machst du auf Gangster, redest davon, dass du Cash hast, auch in Real Life bist du Penner, ein Kinderwitz wie der Wendler. So, hast du jetzt genug?
Yo, das war übel krass, Mann.
Danke, Mann, und weil du es bist, kommt hier nochmal die Hook für dich.
Yeah. Young.Social. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Dragonchain. Mine 10 blocks on the blockchain. My ETH father for the got paid. These regulars selling like they hotcakes. We go to the moon like we don't got breaks. If you want to transact on a marketplace, Dragonchain. Mine 10 blocks on the blockchain. My ETH father for the got paid. These regulars selling like they hotcakes. We going to the moon like we don't got breaks. If you want to transact on a marketplace, Dragonchain. My ETH costs more than your rent. I spend my life savings, get a 10. Dragons get the hottest coming next. Me and Joe Rose making bets. All this shit seem new to me. Mixing blockchain with security. Keeping data safe is the fluency. How could you not fuck with the company?
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
Hey, sorry for that loop. Didn't mean to play that twice. Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky, the Dragonchain Update Show. This is episode 1x12c. That is 0x12c. This is the 300th weekly episode. And reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice, and stay tuned after the updates for the weekly AMA. Do it every week. So first up, Dragonchain updates. Let's see here. Last week's episode for Super Happy Dragon Lucky actually produced 652 lot. There were 2 questions for 413 lot each. The host received 413 lot, and Dragonchain received 413 lot. Let's see here, and I should have had this up. Apologies. everything's a little bit loose today. We go to World Blockchain Roundtable updates. Sure, let's do those next. So last week we had campaigns accepting public or private crypto donations, episode 206. We're approaching the anniversary, I think a 4-year anniversary. So we're really close to it. And let's see here. Make sure you watch and share that. The more views it gets this first week, the more everybody will get who was on it. I wasn't on it last week, but I got to watch part of it. It's always good without me on it. And let's see here. We go to today's current news topics with Blockchain Solutions, episode 207. Let's see here. So make sure that you get in there. Let's see if there are any questions yet. Yep, there are. There are some questions on here. So yeah, solutions will be fun. So hopefully I'll be on it. Hopefully I'll be there. Make sure you're watching if you can. And let's see here. We go to Den.Social updates. And I don't think I have a tab for this, actually. I don't think I have anything up here. Well, I'll just show this one, even though it's not the one to go with. DenDAO updates. There will be a meeting every Thursday at 1500 Eastern, which is 1400 Central, US Central, 1900 UTC. Look for the post. Be sure that there's a meeting that week. And go to the DenDAO layer and check probably the top post, and you can add to the agenda right there. You can ask questions. You can find the link right there as well to join the meeting live. It's you should probably start going to those because there are some things that we will start talking about very soon with some hopeful updates on how we're going to roll out new stuff this coming week. I'll make sure. I will make sure, Emperor, that we get that we have the link up in the next. I don't have anything to show on the screen right now. Feel bad, but still, make sure you go there. You can find it. Go to the DenDAO layer and be there, or miss some really good stuff. So let's see here. Next, we have Dracaria updates, and this is still, we are so close to getting this out. We have things actually running. I mean, I guess I can give you some of the rundown. We have the seasons cycling through. We're on in a test environment, so we're running the seasons fast. We actually even ran them with a 10-minute season so that we could watch them fly through, and where we could pick out where we had errors, bugs. And I think right now we're on a 12-hour season. The real season is 28 days. So we're cycling through them quickly. We have egg spawning. We've tested all of that. We're testing the website, the interface to it. We've had some come out of course, coming out of frozen into incubation. We know that works. It looks like they have come out of incubation into hatching, but we haven't drilled down into whether it's working properly or not yet there. And of course, everything in the first season, the Genesis season, is only accessible with a gateway key. So we still have, I think, 12 to give away. So make sure you pay attention, because we're going to, I know that they just created a small chat group for the Genesis gateway key holders and the team to do early discussions, and we're probably going to have a full community on X set up. And of course, as soon as the dragons are revealed, there is already a layer on Den where all of the actual governance occurs. And right now it's only the founders governance, the builders, but it will be in the end the dragons and some of the other characters in Dracaria world. So make sure you're following Dracaria on X. Make sure you're paying attention for giving those gateway keys away. We did have, I think, two, I believe. I don't know if they've gotten in touch with them or not, but two of the gateway key holders that we've not been able to get in touch with. So if that's one of you, make sure you get in touch with us. And, I guess you're going to have to make sure that we know that it's really you. So either way, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, but either way, we'll figure out who they were, and or those gateway keys will be added to the set to still be given away. So we'll see how that goes. Make sure you get there and follow Dracario World. We don't have enough people following Dracario World yet, so it's still early. It's still very, very early. Okay, so now we go to the AMA question. So while I refresh this, make sure that you like the video, repost it, retweet it, whatever, wherever you're watching. I think here probably most people are watching on Twitter, on X, it looks like. We can't tell on YouTube because they don't actually report accurately. We know that. So someone always watches on Twitch though, which is interesting. So there's always a small amount on Twitch, but either way, make sure you retweet it if you're watching it on X, or repost it, whatever they call it now. And I did refresh it. I'm going to refresh it again. You got an extra chance to get a question in, and we'll scroll down and get to the questions. Opa49 asks, growing the developer ecosystem. How does Dragonchain plan to attract more developers to build dApps on the platform? Are there plans for things like improved SDKs, developer grants, community events to make Dragonchain the go-to choice for blockchain builders? Thank you for everything you've done for us, Opa. You're welcome, first of all. Yes. We have plans. A lot of them are still very early because there are so many contingencies depending upon what happens and how it happens. And that applies to Dragonchain specifically, but it also applies to the mini projects as well. So first of all, we already have an initiative underway to really, how do I say this? To produce a brand new version of the network, of the nodes. Now, reverse compatible, yes. So we won't do something that breaks everyone who's running a node, right? Because not everybody has the time within a certain window that they could go and do an update. So we will do as much as we can to make sure that things are reverse compatible, and at the same time to increase the incentive to make the switch, because what's coming will be much easier to deploy. So it won't be such a big effort to upgrade, but also it should be much cheaper to run. It's going to run on a much smaller footprint. Maybe you'll be able to go buy a Raspberry Pi and just plug it in your office or something like that. But what we're going to do is intended primarily and first for the business node deployments, that they would be able to roll out on a teeny device, and potentially many teeny devices, right? So that's the gist of it. We really want to be able to make it easier for even a hobbyist to run it, let alone an enterprise. And that'll just improve the ability for us to deploy to an enterprise, because we won't need an expert to go in and do it. It'll be, hey, yeah, just download this, run this, change these settings, and go. And so that's the gist of it. And you can imagine the network, the L2 through L5 will be considered that much easier as well. And given that, we also are looking for thoughts. So if you have any feedback on the L4, the way that you can progress to get an L4, for example, that we want to improve that. It could be time-based, it could be something else. And we also would like to even open up the ability to run an L5. So think about that. Think about what what makes the most sense for the community, for the people who have been so loyal for so many years, and maybe that should be a big part of it, right? If you've been running a node for a long time, maybe all of those things open up to you, right? So anyway, that's some of it, and SDKs as well, because when we refactor, we already know that we need to improve in a few areas. We need a Golang SDK. We need a few updates to the SDKs, including there are a couple of parts of the API that, now that we know how people after many years use it, some of the parts we might refactor and clean up, and maybe make the whole thing simpler. So anyway, that's that. Community grants, we're looking for funding. So if we get funding, that'll be a definite thing. If we get a lot of revenue coming in from, let's say, Dracaria or from deplatform/Den, that those will be included in there. And I would tell you that probably even things that would be focused on Dracaria or Den, deplatform, or Eternal, or any of the other projects would be instrumental in gaining adoption for Dragonchain. So some of those projects will be making their own money, raising their own money, and for example, in Dracaria, we do very much expect that with the early money comes in, rather than distribute, we are probably going to put it into things like dev jams and ways that game devs can come in and build on the platform and compete for some type of prize money or other sponsor prizes. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff there as well. And blockchain builders, though, is the key. And if you can build on Dragonchain, if you can build on Dracaria, if you can build on some combination, it's a beautiful thing. That's what we want. So, and you think in Den, if you had plugins, that there would be, we want to open source Den so that people could start building new interfaces. Someone could take over the mobile app. We could do a whole bunch of very good things, but we just haven't had the resources or time to do it yet. So that's coming. Sorry, that's a very long answer, but it was a great question. And I haven't had time to really talk about that for any other. Here, I'm going to make sure I vote this up. I haven't had time to cover that anywhere else. So thank you very much. Opa. Hope I pronounced that right. That's the most fun way to pronounce it. I am 4 a.m. Dragonchain question. Now that the SEC case is over, what do you hope to accomplish with Eternal? Another good one. It is supposed to harness the power of blockchain to capture, archive signs, timestamp, anything. How can this become a revenue generator for Dragonchain? So let's see here. Where to start? So if you guys know, we put Eternal out, I believe it's in 2019, and we put it out in advance of us getting the interchain patent. So it might have been 2018. I can't remember. We'd have to look. But either way, it's free service. It's running. The only reason we can afford to run it is because we have a considerable amount of time. Dragonchain does. So it is running that node at the highest. I think we have 1 billion time applied to it. And the funny thing, when the SEC was trying to get us to sign a settlement, the first settlement they offered. Well, the first one way back was crazy. It didn't make any sense. There's some Eternal stuff here, I promise you. That the second one, which was more recent, they wanted us to pay in the tens of millions, and they're like, well, we don't have that money, so okay. So they came back and we spent like $15,000 out of my own pocket on the arrange. You have to hire an intermediary. You go in there and you talk to them, and you're in different rooms. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And one way or another, they talk to the intermediary. Then he comes back. Then we talk to him, and he goes back and forth throughout the day. And you get down to, okay, we have some agreement, and apparently federal court requires you to go through this rather than going straight into court. If there's any chance that you can negotiate a settlement, they want you to do it instead of spending time in the court, right? So we do this, we get them down to 1.7 million, and the mediator, my attorney, everybody's telling me this is the best deal you're going to get, Joe. There's no way around it. You should take this. You should take it immediately. And part of the deal wasn't just the 1.7 million that I don't have, Dragonchain doesn't have. That the other part of it is they wanted us to burn all of the dragons that we hold, right? So and they wanted us to send a letter to all the exchanges telling them we didn't want them to trade dragons. So whatever. We didn't have the money, first of all. And they told us that, well, it's not like you'd ever have to pay it anyway. And our lawyer said, well, wait a minute, can you put that in writing? It's like, no, you can't put that in writing. So it's silly stuff. But, one of our biggest arguments this whole time was, if you wanted us to burn the dragons, we would have to shut down everything. Den would have to shut down because we wouldn't be able to afford to pay for the transactions on chain. Eternal would have to shut down. Everything that we are doing in any of our own projects wouldn't be able to operate if we had to burn all of our dragons, and let alone if we couldn't buy them anymore because we told all the exchanges that we didn't want them to trade them. So, and our lawyer kept going back with them saying that we have to keep operating. We're not going to do this if we can't keep operating. That this is a business. And crazy stuff. When you deal with demons, they're not always just evil. They're evil and crazy and nonsensical. So, if you've ever had to do it, you'll know. But anyway, Eternal needs to. Hopefully, that was okay that I shared that. It was an Eternal answer. That we had originally, probably the most successful thing about Eternal was. You could say either the couple of runs, the first demonstrations of what is now Dracaria tech, and the second set of, I guess, probably the most known was its ability to store tweets. And, you could post a tweet link to it directly in the interface, or at some point we made a bot that people could respond to something and it would save the tweet that you responded to on chain and it would reply back. And because some people had saved tweets from McAfee when he said certain things, it would quote and it got banned along with him. So it was really funny. And we had it come back a couple of times, and then one time, all of a sudden, it went away, and they would never respond as to why or what. And so it went away. And then some great person in the community built another bot, deployed it, and that was the Eternalize This bot. And it worked for years, and it saved, I don't know, but it was at least thousands of tweets, maybe more. It saved a ton of the at one point, all of the deleted Trump posts. It saved a whole bunch of very interesting stuff from politicians and things that got deleted. And it is still on chain. In all of those cases, it's still on chain. And most of them now have billions of dollars of proof. So far, far better than a screenshot. We even got picked up in the major press back then. Several cases because someone had smartly saved stuff on chain. So we have a model and we have a small team, right, that is very interested in seeing Eternal be what it could be fully. The tweet stuff went away because Musk changed the bot rules on Twitter to a point where it's not right now scalable. I mean, I would pay out of my pocket to run it, but the problem is if enough people used it, it would essentially stop working because you would have to pay a tremendous amount of money. And the early side is not unbearable. It's an okay price, but when you get past that, it's not like it's something linear. It just immediately goes up to thousands of dollars a month, and potentially a lot more than that, depending on how many people used it. So it's not really workable right now. So we have to figure out how to do that. And we have to figure out how to monetize it. If you monetized it in a good way, then maybe only paid accounts could use that bot. That would probably be a good way to do it. We've thought about that, but we have a design set up for something that should really monetize it well and should be really powerful, and would not require it to be a charity or to ask for donations or anything like that. But it would be archival, so it would be something that it would be welcome if people wanted to do that. So either way, we have plans. We have a lot of good plans. If anybody's interested in it, reach out. We actually have it on the list to formalize it, but we're right now all the resources are on Dracaria to get it out the door. Once that's done, we have the team splitting up to refactoring the Dragonchain network, a couple of people working on Eternal. So there's a lot to do. So if anybody has any interest, we have a lot more efficient way to do things now than we did even a year ago. So reach out if anybody wants to know. And it would become a revenue generator. It would at least pay for itself. And I think it would probably actually bring in good money. So great question. Sorry, I'm giving long answers. So whoever comes next gets a short answer. Sorry. Cryptofield. This is the third, right? So theoretically, I don't have to go further, but we're only 30 minutes in. So another massive congratulations to Joe and the team on the SEC victory. Great, very grateful to be a part of such a great community. And by the way, anybody who's out there, we appreciate all the new people for sure, but the people who have stuck with us for so many years, you can't fault even the people who aren't necessarily, I'm not their favorite person, but they're still there. I love it. It's amazing, and it's a really good community still. You can't really say that about too many projects after this many years. So it's been so many years. We've passed 10 years for the project itself. We've passed 8 years for its release to open source out in the real world, and over 7 years since we released it. We were under attack since the very beginning. I think the very beginning of 2018, we got letters from the SEC. So it's been a crazy journey. Anyway, Dracaria question. With the platform ready for launch at this opportune time, will the team be seeking VC or external investment to drive growth and adoption faster? I know you previously commented the only thing missing was a billionaire. That is true. I was a billionaire. We were billionaires for a while. I think, in fact, anyone who held a Dragon at one point in, I believe, 2017, when it was listed on Ether Delta. God bless Ether Delta. May it return someday. It was actually decentralized, I do think. That everybody was a billionaire for a little bit. There wasn't a lot of liquidity for those billions, but everybody was a billionaire on paper. So if you held Dragons, and somebody had to look up the date, but if you held Dragons at that time, you can say that you were a billionaire for a day. And I was a billionaire for a few months. Dragonchain had a multi-billion-dollar market cap, and we held over a few billion in Dragons. And anyway, man, those were the days. Anyway, that we are open to anything like that. We did speak to some people. We did speak to some people early on, and it didn't go anywhere. I think that they misinterpret. It's like no fault. Smart people. They didn't see what it is. The first thing I got is, NFTs are dead. Second thing I got is why wouldn't we just buy the NFTs? I'm like, You know, it's like we're building a platform. I'm hoping that they're, you know, the people who like NFTs, who want NFTs, God bless them. I love them. They can call them NFTs if they want. These are really more akin to collectibles that happen to be digital, that will have a Web3 component. They will be, you know, you will be able to exit the platform and hold them in your hardware wallet, in your safe, as you wish. You will be able to take them out and trade them in the outside world. But the people who don't, which are, by the way, you know, greatly outnumber the people who are in crypto. You know, the people who love dragons, who love Lord of the Rings, who love Game of Thrones, who love you know, all of the D&D elvish stuff, right? That you know, one way or another, you know, those people will love it. And I still think the vast majority of them won't care about the Web3 side. Now, what you want to do for the adoption of Web3, you want to get them in for a reason. Then you want them to realize, oh, there's some value there. But, you know, we're going to have trading native on the platform. We're going to have buy and sell native. So there's going to be some really amazing stuff. And I think any VC would be very smart to come in right now and offer something, because yes, it would help in the early days with, you know, marketing, promotion, and who knows what else. We don't need as much money on the dev side, although it would make things more efficient. We would be able to get more time from the developers right now if we were able to pay them directly. I mean, right now everybody on the project is working for ownership in the platform and in the DAO and in the tokens. So that's how it's working right now. You know, and it would, you know, if they could pay or if we could pay them in, you know, in dollars so they could pay bills, it would just be easier. But either way, it's all good. And, you know, that will be helpful. I will say too, there is a very good chance that we'll seek funding after launch as well, where people, and the reason I even say that is people can then see that what it is, right? It's really hard with something this new to go to a VC and say, hey, this is the you know, this is going to be something big. You know, we know the tech is going to be big. It's going to establish something that's never been done before. And, you know, I'm a technologist, and easily this is the most exciting thing I've ever worked on. So when we get it out, you know, it might, I will tell you, I don't expect it to go out and be a massive success the first month. Why? Because there's not even any money the first month. Very first season is all gateway keys are all free. Second season is extremely limited. Look at the white paper. I think it's $25 and there are 50 of them. It's going to be hard to get one of those, right? Then after that, all bets are off. After that, and the reason we did it like that is because it's a cycle for the game platform, which is now a calendar then. And because it being cyclical means when something comes out that is you know, dragon related out in the you know, entertainment world, for example, or the gaming world, people will remember us. People's like, oh, dragons, it's like Dracaria. And if we are cyclical, that means it won't matter. We won't have to have perfect bull market timing. You know, I could have never planned the Dragonchain release to be as perfect as it was for timing in the bull market in 2018, right? So assuming I'm not going to be you know, perfect in timing for Dracaria, the cyclical design is intended to make that a non-question. You know, and that was behavior tech looking at how NFT projects succeed or fail, you know, and I could go through that someday if you guys are ever interested. Okay, so those I think are all the ones that get credit. I'm going to still answer the rest. Free press, can you tell us who got on the phone during the SEC call months ago and demanded the case be drug out. So do you mean I don't know. Now, if you're talking about speculation, I don't know. If you're talking about the call that I was on that I was accidentally invited to, that I mentioned once before, no one asked for it to be drug out, but they did. How do I say, the way that they were acting, those attorneys, and then the next attorneys. So the two large law firms, and they weren't the first two we had. The first two we had were very small, and one of them was a litigation lawyer. So we had, I guess we had three attorneys before we brought on DLA and then Perkins. And I would say DLA and Perkins both just and I don't know that they could have done much else, but I would assume that they could if they wanted to. But they definitely did. They executed actions that did definitely cause the case to go on longer than it should have. Now that I know what I know, so I don't know who it was, right? Now I could tell you, but I'm not going to tell you who the attorney was that was acting so mousy on that call. Not impressive. Not impressive. If somebody wants to reach out because you're looking for attorneys and you need advice, I will give one-on-one. I will give information personally to help you avoid some of these people. But I'm not going to do it publicly because they're lawyers. So I don't trust lawyers to not do something against me. So anyway, next, I am. New Zealand National MP Catherine Wedd introduced a members' bill to ban children under 16 from accessing social media platforms. Age-appropriate users bill would require social media companies to verify users' ages before allowing access. Wedd said, parents are constantly telling us that they're really worried about the impact social media is having on our children. Didn't question, what are your thoughts about this move around the world to minimize youth accessing social media? How would a decentralized social media implement something like this? Is this what Factor was all about? And how could a government enforce this on a borderless, DAO-based, and decentralized social media platform? Wow. So, man, I don't know that I have a political answer. I mean, I have my own answers, knowing what's happened in my family, knowing, there's definitely bad stuff that happens when kids that are too young have their phone, when they are able to access stuff that, that they aren't aware of how bad it is. And the people on the other side are. And so there's obviously a lot of really bad stuff that happens there. So I understand it. And yet almost across the board, the way that the politicians end up running stuff through is all based upon what their lobbyists paid them, which, the lobbyists are Zuckerberg. I don't know who else, right? It's at least Zuckerberg, and the banks, I'm sure, and probably the nation state Intel, the Intel superstate, right? The actual lobbyists. So whatever they're doing, they want to keep doing their MK Ultra stuff, I'm sure. But the question, how would a decentralized social media site implement something like this? Factor would probably be something related, right? You would want to be able to verify that. You might have to do something, and depending upon the law and depending upon how it works, where some evidence is applied. There could be potentially something with I don't know what type of verification that we would need to make it light. And for example, right now I think it requires you to if there's a not safe for work site on Den, it does require you, and there is a smart tag that you have to assert that you are of age wherever you are. Hopefully that's enough, but in some cases it isn't. Factor could play a part, and there are a lot of other potential ways you could arrange it, and open to ideas, because there are ways that you can make it not overbearing for someone who is old like me, but where a little kid couldn't just get on there and get exposed to politics. But either way, how could a government enforce this on a board? That is a question. I mean, if we can make it more decentralized, it becomes harder for them to, especially in the case where we're not doing something we shouldn't already be doing. So, we should, and again, it's a community, it's a DAO. So it would be something like, me in a community, I would suggest we should do things as right as we can, with, the right philosophy and everything, and go from there. So that's all the questions. Thank you very much. I'm going to do case update. The case is done. I think we can probably pull the case update from now on. What I'll start doing soon is start pulling together maybe something more. If we have something more of a roadmap, I don't know if we will, because there's so many different projects, but I'll at least say anything new that hasn't already been covered, I will cover at this point from now on. Okay. And in the meantime, go to Dragonchain.store, get some DAO merch before it's gone. As soon as we decide we're going to go to deplatform, all the DAO stuff is probably going to go away. You won't be able to get it ever again. It'll be gone. That's it forever. And we still owe money to our the good attorney that we did have at the end. Although I will tell you honestly, he did try to get me to just to be totally open and transparent. And so in case it ever comes up, right, he did try to get me to accept that $1.7 million settlement, where we would write all the exchanges and tell them don't trade dragons, and where we would have to pay this 1.7 million that we don't have, and where we would burn all of the dragons that Dragonchain holds, which would decimate our local system. So he screamed at me on the phone. I'm not joking. He yelled at me on the phone to accept the settlement, and was going. And I was like, why? I need to think about it. I need some time, and I need to talk to Greg, and I need to talk to John Deaton, and I need to think it through. I need to talk to other people at the company. I need to talk to the board. I need to talk to my wife, right? These are big decisions. I'm not going to do these with just it's like, sure, let's do it. Let's go, David, go. So anyway, just so you know that, to be transparent, I did get screamed at on the phone, and I'm happy that I stood firm and we held out. And it's like, especially when Trump was just elected, and it's going to be crypto America, right? Why would we settle now? It's obviously we're pushing hard to get that out before Trump came into office. So anyway, whatever. If you can, give us some crypto, give us some money, whatever you might have. It'll help us, and let us know. We'll either work out something where you get a badge, or maybe we can get you some free merch, or a mention. We should start giving mention to all the people who have, if they so wish. You can do it anonymously. You could give us a name or a little byline, maybe. If you have given money, let us know something, and I'll read it. Right, I'll read a note. I don't even care if it's embarrassing, right? But anyway, thank you so much, and make sure you come in next week. Make sure you watch Super Happy Dragon Lucky, same time. Make sure you later today in like 14 minutes, the roundtable. Also follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, Drakari World, Jojo Row, and X, and Den.Social. So thanks a bunch, and we will see you soon.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable. If this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.